I think this is the first wet Silverstone race we've had at Motive for Motive's F1 League since Season 1. This is going to be exciting. That was an F1 2020. This is an F1 22. Here we go. Lights coming on now at the head of the grid. We're about to go racing here for the British Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go, and Bennett gets a great start off the line. He's looking to the inside on Joram, coming up towards Abbey, but in fact it looks like Tezamazza's got around Bennett in the second phase of the start. Can he hold on to it? Coming up through Village we come. Bennett holding on to P2 there ahead of Tezamazza. Joram though leads by from Bennett. Tezamazza in third place. Little Greavy in fourth ahead of Demspecki. 1000 Corn dropped down to P6 there off of the line. Tibbs has lost a couple of places. He's lost out to the Mutts Nuts, Matty Pitt, Twitch Storms and Crescent Anime. What has happened to Tibbs here? Tibbs has really had a bit of a nightmare first couple of corners, as we see there's an Alpine there a bit wide coming out onto the Wellington straight. That's Pete Cheward there, as he's got T looking looking to his inside. He's made the move there, so we see a bit of bodywork flying around there. Who was that off of? We can see Pete Cheward losing a few positions here, loses out to Matty Pitt and Twitch Storm. So Pete Cheward's had a difficult moment there coming through Brooklands, but Joanne Bennett, Tezamazza, Little Greavy, Demspecki there in fifth place ahead of 1000 Corn, followed by Rednas T Philosopher. There you got Max GT ahead of the Mutts Nuts, Matty Pitt, Twitch Storms, Pete Cheward, Crest Anime, HD Baguette ahead of Raki, followed by DJ Phil and Tibbs there in P18 right now. But Joam trying to get on with this as quickly as he can and up the tempo. Bennett there managed to hold on to P2 coming through turn 1. Obviously Tezamazza was all over him but couldn't quite make it happen. But quite a clean first lap. There was a bit of a argy-bargy going into Brooklands, but aside from that it looks like it's been very tidy so far. Not too many position changes either, as DJ Phil looking all over the back of Tibbs here, and he's not able to make it happen because Tibbs there just squeezing him out a little bit wide. But as we look down the order, Max GT's got ahead of T up into 8th place coming through Stowe Corner. That's job done there for Max GT, as he can now look ahead of him and see what he can get done here in this race. Joram though leading by 7/10 of a second as we come over the line to complete lap 1 here, and Matty Pitt's got ahead of T, and T's lost out to Twitch Storms here. I don't know what happened to T there, but he might have made a little bit of a mistake as P Cheward is into the pits at the end of lap 1 as well. So Peter bringing it in. Oh, Tibbs has binned it. Tibbs has made a mistake coming out of the last corner. And is that going to be a safety car? We've got double waved yellow flags through sector 1, 2 and 3. Don't think that's necessary. But we have got double waved yellow flags here, as I think the guys are just slowing down. I'm not sure. But I think it looks like it's a full course caution, despite the fact that it's only in one little part of the track, which is quite bizarre. But the Mutts Nuts has got ahead of Rednas nonetheless up into 8th place. So that's job done there for him. As Pete Cheward is currently in the pits at the moment at the end of the first lap. So he's just coming to the end of the pit lane now. Joam has just almost opened up a second of a gap here over Bennett. Tezamazza there running in third place has managed to gap Little Greavy by just over a second. You've got Demspecki has fallen off of him by about a second as well. 1000 Corn there in P6 ahead of Max GT, followed by the Mutts Nuts. You've got Rednas there, has got Matty Pitt reasonably close to the back of him right now. Twitch Storms there in 11th place, T there in 12th, Crescent Anime followed by HD Baguette, Raki, DJ Phil, P Cheward, having pitted quite early on, is running at the back of the pack at the moment. But Demspecki trying to put the pressure on Little Greavy right now. Rednas also on the back of the Mutts Nuts, as these guys are coming out of Chapel Curve for the second time here in this race. Doesn't look like anybody's too close to the car in front at the moment. Doesn't look like there's any real moves being shaped up on at the moment, as HD Baguette's got ahead of Crescent Anime up into P13. The 2 Alfa Romeo is battling there, and HD Baguette making up another position. She always goes better in the races than in qualifying. She often opts not to qualify just to keep out of trouble in the first few laps. But right now making up positions. Joram though leading by just over a second over Bennett at the moment. Tezamazza there running in third place. T's coming into the pits at the end of lap 2, so an early pit stop there for T, presumably putting another set of inters on. Wonder if he's got damage maybe. That's what might be what's motivated him to do that. Nonetheless, the Mutts Nuts is on the back of Max GT at the moment. Twitch Storms still pressuring Matty Pitt as well, as 1000 Corn's got to have Demspecki, but Demspecki's going to try and come back at him coming down the Wellington straight. You can see there 1000 Corn trying to defend there. Demspecki's now got the slipstream. Is he going to look to the inside coming into Brooklands? Not quite at the moment. 1000 Corn's got that one under control. The Mutts Nuts is still on the back of Max GT at the moment. Raki's on the back of Crescent Anime as they're coming down towards Brooklands. You've got Rednas currently pressuring the back of DJ Phil as they're coming down towards Brooklands now. Is he going to look to make a move here on the brakes? A little bit too far back, thinks better of it for the time being. DJ Phil holding on to P14 there. Tezamazza is really close on the back of Bennett right now. He is hassling him as they come up through Maggots and Beckett's, but at the moment hasn't been able to find a way through. Bennett's just lost a bit of time to Joram. Joram just eking out that gap out the front, has got almost a 2-second lead here as we're coming towards the end of lap 3. Tezamazza still trying to find a way through on Bennett. He's now got the slipstream coming down the hanger straight. Is he going to look to the inside into Stowe corner. Looks like Bennett's got a little bit less downforce on that Aston Martin than Mazza's got on his Ferrari. Mazza's gone for a bit more of a safety kind of setup. He's got a bit more downforce on it, but having said that, he's got a great run out of Stowe and into Vale corner. Mazza up into P2 there. Job done. That looked quite routine there. I don't know if Bennett got a poor run coming out of Stowe, but whatever the case, Mazza up into second place here. As I was just saying, Bennett there's got a bit less downforce than Mazza, because Mazza, even though he was in the slipstream of Bennett, wasn't really closing in on him much, but Mazza just got a much better run out of Stowe and just breezed past him into Vale. Nonetheless, you've got 1,000 Corn on the back of Little Greavy right now, 0.2 of a second separating these guys. Demspecki just behind them at the moment. But these guys having a good little battle for fourth place. They've dropped off for the podium spots a little bit. You've got Gelram, Mazza and Bennett currently separated by 3 seconds, and it's a further 3 seconds back to this three-way battle for fourth place. As you can see, 2,000 Corn looking to the inside here on Little Greavy. He's going to go for the dive here coming into Brooklands. Let's watch from Demspecki's point of view, who's right behind these guys. Little Greavy holding on to that fourth place for the time being. 1,000 Corn there in this sandwich between Little Greavy and Demspecki at the moment. Couple of seconds back to the Nuts, who's made some really strong progress in this race so far. Started down towards the bottom of the pack, but he's really got himself well into a good position here into 7th place. You've got Little Greavy, who's just made the move on 1,000 Corn up into 4th now. Demspecki's looking to try and get involved in this action as well. Up towards Maggotts and Beckett's they come, but 1,000 Corn's managing to keep ahead of Demspecki there for the time being. Lots of action going on. There's battles wherever you look right now. HD Baguette's closing up onto the back of Matty Pitt and Twitch Storms at the moment. Raki's just about a second ahead of Crestaname. Crestaname is really hunting Raki at this point in this potential battle for 12th and 13th places. 1,000 Corn though is all over Little Greavy as they're coming out on the exit of Stowe corner. Here they come down towards Vale. Has a little feint to the inside. Is he going to send it? Thinks better of it. Little Greavy goes a little bit deep. That might allow 1,000 Corn to get the run coming up through the second part of Vale and into Club. Can he get the run out onto the start finish straight here? He's not going to get the run because, unfortunately for him, Little Greavy just had a little bit of a moment as they were coming out of the last corner, and that meant that 1,000 Corn had nowhere to go, couldn't make that gap count. But he's going to look to the inside into Village, and down the inside goes 1,000 Corn, and that's job done there up into 4th place. Beautifully done there as the Mutts Nuts got ahead of Demspecki, and that's why, because Demspecki's lost it as they came through in towards Aintree, and Demspecki there loses out to Matty Pitt, Twitch Storms, and HDE Baguette. So Demspecki now out of the points here with that little spin. What a shame there. Very unfortunate for him, as Little Greavy's still on the back of 1,000 Corn right now in this battle for 4th and 5th places. The Mutts Nuts is creeping into contention here. He's only just over a second behind these guys, so the Mutts Nuts is not far away at all at this point. Gelram still leading by just over a second, but Mazza keeping Gelram honest at this point. And one thing I said in the first week of the season at Miami, when we saw Gelram was winning in dominant fashion, I said I can't wait to see Mazza jumping out on track, because I thought to myself, based on last season on F1 2021, he was really quick and generally was able to give Gelram a bit of a challenge. Right now he's very much keeping on his toes at the moment. Bennett there running in 3rd place in that final podium spot. Seems like I might have made a mistake, because he did have the pace of these guys a little bit earlier on. 1,000 Corn running just down a Little Greavy into Stowe corner. Little Greavy too far back at the moment. The Mutts Nuts there creeping into contention. Max GT there running all by himself in 7th place. Matty Pitt there in 8th place as the Mutts Nuts has got a Little Greavy, and Little Greavy's made a mistake. So Little Greavy there having a spin on the exit of Stowe corner. The Mutts Nuts is into the pits, I think, or is it? Yeah, it is. In fact, the top 5 are all in the pits here, so I wonder if they're going to be putting slick tyres on, as the track appears to be drying up a little bit now. Who knows what we're going to be seeing? Gelram putting the medium tyres on, Mazza putting the hard tyres on. What else are people going to go for? We've got Bennett putting the hard tyres on as well, so a couple of drivers putting the hards on, Gelram putting the mediums on. 1,000 Corn going for a short fast stint here, going to put the softs on, so he'll be looking to try and really make hay in the next few laps. We've got the Mutts Nuts putting the hards on. Who else is putting tyres on? We've got Matty Pitt putting the hard tyres on. Little Greavy also putting the hards on. HDE Baguette, Twitch Storms and Raki, those 3 deciding to stay out for another lap on the Inters, and I think that might be a strategic error there, because to me the track looks pretty much bone dry at this point. I can't see the Inters being the way to go at this point in the race. I really can't. So Gelram currently the highest runner of the pit stop drivers at this point. He's on the medium tyres and will have better pace than these guys behind him, but Mazza and Bennett, as well as the Mutts Nuts, Max GT, Matty Pitt and Little Greavy, will all be able to go to the end from here as long as we don't have any more rain, that is. So they'll all be good to go for the race distance. Joram probably will have to come into the pits again at some point before the end of the race. I imagine he'll probably put a set of softs on, so he can absolutely rag these medium tyres around, try and pull out as much of a gap as he can, and then he'll have the faster, fresher tyres to put on right at the end. So Joram is probably just going to be, it's going to be like it's going to be basically 20 qualifying laps for him now from here to the end of the race. Tezamaza and Bennett just need to keep their tyres in an optimal window and be kind to what they've got underneath them, because they've got to make it last. Same with the Mart's Nuts, Max GT, Matty Pitt and Little Greavy. Demspecky's put the softs on, will be going for it at the moment, trying to hunt down these guys up ahead of him, and he'll be wanting to clear them as quickly as he can as well. Crest Anime on the medium tyres. Rednass and DJ Phil both gone for a set of soft as well. P Cheward should be good to go to the end, and T will have to come in again with the soft tyres on. HD Baguette, Twitch Storms and Raki all in the pits here at the end of lap 6. Let's see what tyres they put on. Is it going to be hards to the end? No, HD Baguette puts the mediums on. What about Twitch Storms? Twitch Storms, as he's put the inters on. What on earth is he doing? He's just put another set of inters on. Raki's put the mediums on, but Twitch Storms definitely on the wrong tyres. I think there's no doubt about that. So he's going to struggle. I don't know whether he didn't select them in his menu or whether it's a glitch on the game. Nonetheless, Bennett has got ahead of Tezamaza up into second place. These two having a good little battle here, and obviously they're about 5 seconds to drift of Joram, but they're losing time to the race leader whilst they battle. Bennett up into P2 though. Both of these two on the same strategy, and this could even be for the net lead of the race, because obviously with Joram still needing to pit again, we'll have to see whether or not he's got the pace out the front to pull out the gap enough to come in and still finish in front of them. But right now Bennett with P2 here in this race, looking down the order, Demspecky's trying to clear this pack as quickly as he can. He's got ahead of some of them. He's now on the back of Matty Pitt. Obviously Demspecky on the soft tyres, these guys ahead of him on the hards, and you've got HD Baguette on the mediums. So Demspecky will be looking to waste no time at all behind these drivers, as we've got a couple of penalties coming in. Raki picking up a 3-second time penalty for track limits. I did see another one flash up, but I didn't have time to see before Raki's one popped up pretty quickly after it. Demspecky though, coming down the hanger straight, he's got the run here on Matty Pitt as they're now coming up towards Stowe Corner. Here we go, Demspecky down the inside, gets the move done up into 8th place. Can Matty Pitt hold it around the outside? Matty Pitt's still there. Here we come, side by side in towards Vale. Matty Pitt there is going to keep it there. Very nice indeed. Great driving from Matty Pitt. Oh, Demspecky just tags him in the rear there, and he's gone round the Aston Martin there, just getting a bit of oversteer as he tagged the rear end of Matty Pitt, and he might lose out to Crest Anime here as well. Crest Anime's now pulling out of the slipstream here, down the inside into Abbey and up into P10, but Demspecky will try and keep it around the outside as they come through in towards Village now, and Crest Anime there back up into P10, but what a shame there for Demspecky as he was trying to make hay while the sun shines on those soft tyres. Raki's got ahead of Twitch Storms up into P13. That's a move for position. Max GT's picked up a 3-second time penalty. We're not quite sure why at this point. Tezamaza is struggling on these hard tyres. He was really quick in the early stages on the inters, and he seemed quick on the softs in qualifying, but it seems like the hard tyres are not really his kind of tyres at this point, because he is dropping off of Bennett at this point by about a second. Thousand Corn is trying to put the pressure on him a little bit. Hopefully Tezamaza can get those hard tyres up to temperature, because it could be in a battle for the win here. It depends on what kind of stint Joram has on these medium tyres, and obviously he'll be able to put the softs on at the end as well. Rednass is currently on the back of Demspecky, but Crest Anime must have made a mistake, because we saw Crest Anime was ahead of Demspecky a few moments ago. Now Demspecky's in P10. Rednass on the soft tyres, Demspecky also on the soft tyres. Rednass has got DRS here coming down the hanger straight. I think he's going to get there just a little bit too late, and nothing doing there. Demspecky holding on to P10 for the time being. Then Thousand Corn still running in P4 at the moment. 7/10 of a second currently separating Tezamaza and Thousand Corn at the moment. Flaky saying in the comments, at least no aquaplaning on the straight. Yeah, it wasn't really enough rain for that, to be honest. It was only a little bit damp. Inters was the way to go. There was never any threat of wet tyres, but obviously the inters were not necessary for very long. The track now bone dry at the moment as Joram continues to lead the race by 6.6 seconds at this stage. Bennett's pulled out a 1.4 second gap over Tezamuzza. Tezamuzza is coming under increasing pressure from Thousand Corn though, as we can see Twitch Storms and Crest Enemy both into the pits. Twitch Storms' gamble to stay on the intes in the hope of more rain has not paid off in any way, shape or form. Crest Enemy trying to get some damage fixed and has got that done and is now back out on the track on some hard tyres, which should go to the end of this race. As Rednass has picked up a 3-second time penalty here for track limits, as he was on the back of Demspecki trying to get up into the final points paying position. Oh, it's T and DJ Phil having a bit of a battle here. Oh, DJ Phil just cutting across T a little bit there as they came out of the loop onto the Wellington straight, but DJ Phil up into P14 there, as those two having a little bit of argy-bargy. Thousand Corn's got ahead of Tezamuzza. So Thousand Corn's made the move. I assume he must have done it down the Hanger Straight because he'd had the move already coming between Stowe and Vale chicane. So Thousand Corn there up into the final podium spot. T currently on the back of DJ Phil, 0.2 of a second currently separating these guys in P14 and 15. Rednass is on the back of Demspecki here in the battle for the final points paying position at this point. But Tezamuzza still trying to put the pressure on Thousand Corn at the moment. Joram out the front has got a 7-second lead over Bennett LCFC. Thousand Corn's currently 8.5 seconds off of the lead at the moment, with Tezamuzza in hot pursuit here. Still trying to get back onto him if he can, but obviously Thousand Corn, to be fair, you can't really blame Tezamuzza actually for losing the position to Thousand Corn, because Thousand Corn is on the soft tyres. Thousand Corn will probably be looking to try and get ahead of Bennett quite shortly as well, so obviously Thousand Corn still needs to pit. These guys, Bennett and Tezamuzza, are good to go to the end, but Bennett seems to have a grip of these hard tyres a little bit more than what Tezamuzza has at this point. But then again, I think on the soft tyres, I think Tezamuzza has had the edge over Bennett a little bit, so maybe Tezza's just looking after his tyres a bit more. I don't know, if we looked at the tyre graphic we might be seeing that Tezza's looked after his tyres a bit better. But having said that, Bennett's got a lot more ERS left than Tezza has. Tezza's been using his ERS like no tomorrow and has only got 24% left in comparison to Bennett, who's got 70% of his left. Joram out the front has got 40% of his ERS. Thousand Corn's only got 27% of his, so Bennett will probably be able to defend this actually quite easily from Thousand Corn if he uses his ERS wisely. As Max GT's lost out to Little Greavy, so Little Greavy's up into 8th place. That's job done there for him. T's currently getting some hard tyres on there, so he's now back out on the track in P17. But currently Thousand Corn still trying to put the pressure on Bennett. Rednass is still right on the back of Demspecki as well in this battle for P10, as these guys are coming into the Vale chicane right now. You've got Matty Pitt with Little Greavy and Max GT very hot on his heels at the moment as they're coming up towards Abbey. Max GT having a look on Little Greavy. Oh, he's gone straight on. Did he get hit in the rear there? No, he didn't. Max GT's gone straight on at Abbey by himself. I don't know what happened there. That was really strange. It just seemed to like hit a flat spot and just go straight on. That was really peculiar there, but Max GT's lost a bit of time there and he's lost out a place to Rednass as well, so that's not gone to plan at all there for him. Thousand Corn currently still on the back of Bennett as these two battled it out over 2nd and 3rd places right now. Thousand Corn with not very much ERS left, and Bennett still harvesting his. He's not using much of it at all to defend. He's not really needing to at this point. Bennett keeping the gap at 8 seconds to Joram, which could be crucial. Joram's still yet to pit again in this race. But having said that, you don't lose too much time in the pits here at Silverstone. It's a relatively minimal time loss. Obviously the pit lane speed limit is a lot less to account for the fact that you take a massive shortcut into the pit lane. So you don't sort of like I think the theory is that if the pit lane speed limit at Silverstone was the same as other tracks, you can only lose about 5 seconds in the pits, but I think it's about a 15-second time loss because you can only do half the speed here at Silverstone in the pits as you do at other tracks. Nonetheless, Matty Pitt has got a 3-second time penalty for track limits by the looks of it, so he needs to be careful and needs to try and not do that again if possible. Bennett's still on the back of Thousand Corn here in this battle for 2nd and 3rd places. You've got Tezamuzza still hot on these guys at the moment. Racky's picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit warnings we're seeing there on the timing screen right now. But 1000 Corn Bennett and Tesmother having a good little battle here. DJ Phil's got a 3-second time penalty for track limit warnings. We're just seeing that pop up on the screen there. Little Greavy's currently on the back of Matty Pitt as they're coming out onto the Wellington straight here for the 12th time in this race. Here goes Little Greavy, DRS wide open, looking to the inside into Brooklands. Is this going to be job done? Yes, it is, as he just gives Matty Pitt a bit of a tap there. Matty Pitt runs out wide onto the grass, but Little Greavy up into 7th place there. Brilliantly done there from him. Rednass is currently on the back of Dems Becky, but Dems Becky and Rednass both closing up onto the big back of Matty Pitt, with Matty Pitt running a little bit wide there, coming through Brooklands as Matty Pitt's now lost out to Dems Becky. Dems Becky round the outside in towards Cops Corner. 1000 Corn's lost out here to Bennett and Tesmazon. What's happened there? Oh, 1000 Corn. Looked like he had a moment there coming into Stowe. I don't know what happened there. How did he end up there? That's really strange. I think he might have reset the car there. But nonetheless, he's coming into the pits here, so I imagine he'll be putting on a set of mediums to go to the end. But yeah, he's lost a bit of time there to these guys. Tesmazon is now starting to really get into a zone. He's now right on the back of Bennett. I said earlier on, Bennett was seeming to cope with the hard tyres a bit better, but maybe Tesmazon's been looking after those tyres a bit more, because he is definitely now starting to come into his own here. You've got 1000 Corn just coming through the end of the pit lane now. HD Baguette into P5, Little Greavy into 6th. The Mutts Nuts has been quietly going about his business here, running in P4 at the moment, and the Mutts Nuts can go to the end of the race here. So what a great drive it's been from the Mutts Nuts so far. He's really kept himself in good stead over the course of tonight. Dems Becky and Rednass just coming towards the end of the pit lane right now. 7 of you currently watching the stream. Guys, smash that like button if you're enjoying the stream tonight. If you want to get involved, be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com. Bennett, LCFC and Tesmazon are still separated by 0.3 of a second as they're coming through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel here for the 13th time. Coming up to the halfway point in this race. It's still Joram leading the race, but we obviously got to remember that Joram needs to come into the pits for a fresh set of tyres, because those mediums are not going to last 20 laps. So he'll probably need to come in maybe at about 5 or 6 laps left in the race for some soft tyres, but he will have the pace over Bennett and Tesmazon, so it will definitely pay dividends for him. But right now the battles seem to be a little bit few and far between. You've got Twitch Storms closing up onto the back of Crest Anime. These two separated by 0.8 of a second. Matty Pitt has picked up a 3-second time penalty for track limits. We're just seeing that pop up on the screen there. But yeah, right now Twitch Storms currently trying to keep onto the back of Crest Anime, but he's dropped out of the DRS here on Crest Anime for the time being. TJ Phil and T still having a good little battle with a B16 at the moment. TJ Phil just went a bit deep there. They're coming through Aintree and has lost a few tenths to T coming through that part of the track. Tesmazon still on the back of Bennett. These two separated by 0.4 of a second right now as they're coming through Brooklands for the 14th time in this race. We're just over halfway through the British Grand Prix here at Motive on the PlayStation 4 and 5 for Motive's Formula 1 League here on the F1 22 game. Currently Bennett and Tesmazon are still having a good little battle here for second place. Joram's leader 11 seconds now out the front, but he'll need to come into the pits probably in about 5 or 6 laps time for some soft tyres. But obviously he has a reasonably solid lead out the front. Even if he doesn't come out ahead of Bennett and Tesmazon, he'll have a fresh set of tyres which will take him to the end, so he'll be in a great position nonetheless. And we'll just have to wait and see how it pans out. Bennett and Tesmazon are still battling over second and third places. 0.7 of a second currently separating these two right now. And the race seems to just be settling down a bit now. It was hectic and non-stop action here, there and everywhere for the first sort of 14 laps, and now it's just calmed down ever so slightly. This is the only battle out on track at the moment between Bennett and Tesmazon, keeping on the timing screen just to see if there's anyone making a mistake or any position changes. But right now it looks like they're all just going about their business at this point. And Tesmazon still waiting in the wings, hoping to pounce on Bennett. Joram did set the fastest lap on the last lap there, so he's continuing to up the tempo even despite being on 9-lap-old medium tyres. But I don't think he'll be able to get those to the end, especially the pace he's going on them at the moment. He'll be definitely taking quite a bit out of them. 1000 Corns just picked up a time penalty for track limits we're seeing there. But yeah, right now Tesmazon just about within a second of Bennett, but Bennett's pulled out the gap ever so slightly coming through the first sector. Tesmazon's still in the DRS range though at the moment, coming through Cops Corner. Bennett's used a little bit more of his DRS up, but He's still got considerably more than Tezamaza at this point, so he's been harvesting that battery very nicely indeed. One of my contenders for driver of the day has got to be this man here, the Mutts Nuts, because he's currently could be about a net 15 seconds off of the lead, but he started near the back of the pack and he's just really played the strategy very nicely, put the hards on quite early after starting obviously on the inters alongside everybody else because we had a slightly damp start, but came in at the right time and really seems to have kept himself out of trouble very diligently over the course of tonight, so hats off to him. As we see Joam into the pits for some soft tyres, I think. Yep, there he goes. In fact, no, he's put the hard top. What? Why? Has he run out of soft tyres maybe? I don't know. But Joam putting the hards on, that is a strange one. I wonder if he maybe selected the wrong tyres, so he's going to really have to push here. So now Bennett leading the race, Tezamaza in second, and Joam, he's going to come out miles behind them. What has he done? Has he just thrown away the race win here? I'm in disbelief. I think Joram's just thrown away the race win. It's now Bennett and Tezamaza battling over the lead, and Joram, I think, has now thrown away the race win. He's a couple of seconds behind the Mutts Nuts, who's running in third place. Obviously, he's got a lot fresher tyres than the Mutts Nuts, so he should be able to clear him quite quickly. But Joram has just, I think, thrown away the race win there. I don't know why he hasn't put the soft tyres on. That is a bit of a confusing one. Nonetheless, Bennett and Tezamaza half a second between them as they're coming up towards Stowe Corner. Tezamaza with DRS can't quite make anything happen there. He's a little bit too far away at the moment. But these two Englishmen paddling over the British Grand Prix lead here. So these guys are going to be definitely counting their chickens at this point. But here we come anyway, out of the last corner. So we've got 10 laps left to go here for the British Grand Prix at Motive here for season 4 on the F1 game, and it's currently Bennett still with the slender advantage at the moment, but Tezamaza's not letting him off the hook in this battle. Joram is just about a second off of the back of the Mutts Nuts in the battle for third place. You've got Little Greavy, who's close up onto the back of HD Baguette, so there's currently 6 tenths separating those two, and Little Greavy will be definitely in DRS range when they come up towards the Wellington Straight this time around. But HD Baguette with a very solid drive obviously from the back of the grid has kept out of trouble. Similar drive to the Mutts Nuts really, those two having similar races, but Little Greavy would definitely be looking to try and pick up P5 in a few moments time if he can. Bennett and Tezamaza still out the front, still having a good battle for the lead. Joram, I'm sure, is going to clear the Mutts Nuts soon, but he hasn't been able to this time around. HD Baguette's got Little Greavy looking all over the back of her here. Little Greavy a little bit too far away coming into Brooklands there. Matty Pitt still running in 7th place. Max GT in P8, a couple of seconds back to 1000 Corn there, running in P9. Racky's still going in the final points paying position at the moment. Consistency is key. Racky picks up the points when they're on the table. P Cheward running in P11. Demspecky's still going in 12th place. Crescent Anime's got ahead of Red Nass. That's because Red Nass is in the pits here at the end of lap 16. Twitch Storm still going P15 at the moment. T in 16th and DJ Phil in P17 right now as Joram's made the move on the Mutts Nuts coming out of Chapel Curve. Thing is though, has he given the DRS to the Mutts Nuts? No, he hasn't. He's got the DRS. Joram will probably be able to complete the move into Stowe Corner. Gets it stopped nicely turned in there. Joram into P3. Beautiful job there from Joram. But the Mutts Nuts is looking in towards Fail Chicane, too far back. Can't make it happen there. HD Baguette running in P5 is well ahead of Little Greavy now, so Little Greavy must have dropped it somewhere because Little Greavy's now falling back into the clutch of the 1000 Corn. So didn't see what happened there, but Little Greavy's had a spin on this 1000 Corn now looking to the outside as they're both coming in. No, Little Greavy coming into the pits and 1000 Corn almost getting dragged into the pits with him there. But Little Greavy there coming through the pit lane now for I imagine soft tyres, you would imagine, to try and go for the fastest lap. He might be a little way off the top 10 actually though. That could be a bit of a push for him, but we shall see. Nonetheless, Tezamaza still on the back of Bennett right now, 7 tenths of a second currently separating these two, battling it out over the lead here at the Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. We've got Little Greavy who's currently still in the pits at the moment, but Tezamaza's still trying to put this pressure on for the time being then, as Little Greavy's just coming to the end of the pit lane now and should be off the limiter in a second. Philo Perez, should I say. Currently in P16 on the back of Red Nass here. Tezamaza though He's right on the back of Bennett as these two continue to battle for the lead, but he's been on the back of him for a little while now, hasn't been able to force him into a mistake. Bennett's just been holding his own, has just been doing his thing, hasn't been sort of like pressured into a mistake in any way, and isn't looking like he's under any kind of like impressions at this stage. Tezamuz's just staying there though in striking distance and keeping him on his toes, but Joam's pulled out a couple of seconds to the Mutts Nuts and looking pretty much set in that final podium spot at this point. HD Baguette driving a great race currently in P5, 6 seconds off of the back of the Mutts Nuts there, who's running in P4. Matty Pitt there doing a good job, has kept it consistent, is in P6 at the moment. Max GT running in 7th place, Thousand Corn still going in 8th place. Raki now up to 9th, has got 2 championship points in the bag as it stands. P Cheward is only about a second behind him though, and is looking to try and hunt him down in the final few laps of this race. Demspecky there running 11th place, can he close in on these guys as well? Little Greavy on the fresh soft tyres will have much better pace than the guys in front of him. Where can he get up to? Can he get some points here in this one? Maybe, potentially a couple of championship points on the cards for Little Greavy if he can really get the hammer down in these last 7 laps of the race. Crescent Anime in P13, a long way off of the back of Little Greavy. Twitch Storms a few further seconds off of Crescent Anime. You've got Rednass still going in P15, not going to score any points for that unfortunately. Joram's teammate here in the Red Bull, T running in P16, DJ Phil in P17 at the moment, with Tibbs retiring from the race early on. Joram has got a 3-second time penalty there for track limits. We're just seeing that pop up on the screen. Tezamuz is still right on the back of Bennett as they're coming out of the last corner, about to complete lap 19. 7 laps left to go. They're coming up on some traffic here. The traffic is in the shape of, who is it? Let's have a look. To be honest, I don't know. Can't work it out. No, can't work it out. It's an Alpine, so it's Twitch Storms. That's it. Twitch Storms. They're moving well out of the way in a second. Hopefully, we would presume. Having said that, they're not quite on him just at the moment, but these two, half a second between them at the moment, coming down the Wellington straight, keeping an eye on the timing wheel because P Cheward's now within DRS of Raki as well, as they're coming down to the end of the hangar straight into Stowe Corner as HD Baguette is in the pits. So is HD Baguette putting some soft tyres on, maybe, potentially those mediums a bit too worn out? Soft tyres going on to HD Baguette with 7 laps left in this race. Where is P Cheward? P Cheward is just coming out of the last corner. This could be quite close actually. P Cheward over the start finish line. HD Baguette just coming out of the pits. P Cheward will get her, I think. There is HD Baguette now coming off the limiter. Demspecky's going to come around. So HD Baguette comes out in P10, but she's on fresh tyres. Having said that, I think P8 is probably the summit of our expectations here, because P Cheward is 15 seconds behind Thousand Corn in P7, unless the guys ahead have tyre problems. I think HD Baguette has just pitted herself out of a P5. Saying that though, I mean, she could have been under heavy pressure in the closing laps. Maybe she was feeling a bit of grading on the tyres, and potentially that was just a point saving type of tactic. But nonetheless, T currently with a 3-second time penalty there for track limits. Bennett and Tezamuz are still 0.6 of a second separating the 2 leaders. Nothing at all between these guys battling it out over the race victory. Batty Pitt and Max GT 0.8 between those two as they're running in 5th and 6th places here. Down the hangar straight they come. You can see there the Red Bull there of Rednass just having a lap put on him there. Twitch Storm has come into the pits from P14 for some fresh soft tyres, and maybe going for another fastest lap attempt there. Bennett and Tezamuz are still separated by 0.8 at the moment as they're coming through Brooklands here on lap 21. And Bennett's just extended the gap to Tezamuz ever so slightly over the last couple of laps. He's now got a little bit of breathing space here. Tezamuz is still within the DRS zone at the moment, but Bennett just seems to have extended it ever so slightly, got himself in a slightly more comfortable window at this stage. Max GT's on the back of Matty Pitt in the battle for P5 and 6. You've got Crescent Anime just about within DRS of Raki at the moment. Rednass is sticking to the back of T as they're coming down the Wellington straight at this point. 6 of you currently watching, guys, smash the like button if you're enjoying this stream. The race victory is still very much open between Bennett and Tezamuz. Who is it going to be taking the British Grand Prix here for season 4 at Motive on the F1 game? We've had many great classics at Silverstone throughout the seasons here at Motive, and it's looking like another one. Joram was leading the race in the early stages, but pitted himself out of a win due to the fact that he put the hard tyres on. I think he could have been in with a shout at the win if he had put the softs on, but he went for the hards for his final pit stop. I don't know if he'd run out of soft tyres, but whatever the case, a strategic error there has meant that he's not able to come after these two who are batting over the lead. If he had put the soft tyres on, he'd have probably had about a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds up quicker than the two out the front, and maybe would have stood a chance of being on them at the end. But it's not transpired, unfortunately, for Joram here in this one. Bennett and Tezamaza still close, coming in towards Brooklands here for the 22nd time. 4.5 laps left to go here at Silverstone. Max GT still on the back of Matty Pitt. Fortes machine of all bit of a slide there from Max as he came out of club corner out onto the start finish straight there. Matty Pitt keeping him at arm's length at the moment. Krasnaname just over a second behind Raki at this stage, as these two are pretty close in the battle for 12th and 13th places. Keeping an eye on this battle out the front though, Bennett and Tezamaza, as they're coming through Copse Corner here and down towards Maggots and Beckett's once again. The gap's just staying consistent though. It's staying at neck end of a second. Bennett's doing what he has to do. There are times when Tezamaza's just carving it down a little bit, but on the whole Bennett's just keeping him outside of jabbing range. He's just holding him with his reach. He's just keeping him away. He's making sure that there aren't any close quarters kind of scuffles here. Tezamaza just can't seem to work inside of that jab there from Bennett. If this is a boxing match, then it would be Bennett would be Anthony Joshua, Tezamaza would be Andy Ruiz at this point. It's just the gap's a little bit too far. He's just holding him at bay just a little bit. Sorry for that terrible analogy there. I'm about 2 years out of date with that one, but nonetheless, Max GT's on the back of Matty Pitt here, coming down the hanger straight. As we can see here, Max GT's now looking down the inside into Stowe Corner. He's going to have this one done here, and he's up into P5. It's now 1,000 Corns trying to get involved in this as well. A little bit too far away though. Matty Pitt though loses out to Max there for P5. Can Max now? Max is too far away to chase down the Mutts Nuts. He's not going to be able to do that. But 1,000 Corn here on the slightly fresher and faster medium tyres here. It's looking to the inside, coming to the top corner. Matty holds it around the outside though, and 1,000 Corn couldn't quite poke it up the inside. Through Abbey they come. Can 1,000 Corn get the run here in towards Village? No, he can't. He's too far back still. Nothing doing there for 1,000 Corn. Bennett and Tezamaza are still battling it out. 0.6 of a second currently separating these two out the front. It's been close, it's been cagey. There's not been much in terms of overall pace between these two. They're so evenly matched out there at the moment. Tezamaza's quick through Maggots and Beckett's, and then Bennett is quicker down the straights. But Tezamaza with DRS is keeping him on his toes still. Gap just creeping under 0.6 of a second coming into Stowe Corner. But Bennett is just doing what he has to do at this point. They're coming up on some traffic here. They will be on them in a few seconds time. That is a Mercedes there. That's DJ Phil, who you see Bennett ghosting straight through him there, coming through Club Corner. Bennett at the moment with just under a second to Tezamaza. Bennett had DRS on DJ Phil there, which would have just helped him out a little bit. But Tezamaza's now dropped out of that DRS here on Joram, which is not going to be what he wanted at all. I tell you what, the gap's 1.1. He might not have DRS down the Wellington Straight. This could be Bennett's chance to break away here in the final couple of laps. Let's see what the gap is as they're coming out onto the Wellington Straight now, and the gap is just over a second. So Tezamaza does not have DRS, but still has the slipstream and still gain a couple of tenths. Just crept into the second barrier there as they came into Brooklands. Bennett and Tezamaza still going at it. It's been a great battle here between these two. It's been so close, it's been so tight. Matty Pitt's now just over a second behind 1,000 Corn. 1,000 Corn looks like he's got that done and can now pull away in P6. This is the battle out on track right now. This is where it's at. This is where we're going to be for the final couple of laps of this race. Bennett just extending his gap to Tezamaza a little bit on this lap so far. Maybe he's now just taking everything out of his tyres he can. In fact, Bennett has got 40% of ERS left. Tezamaza has only got 16%. So Bennett's now going to be using that ERS to his advantage to try and stamp home this current position that he's got. He's going to be hoping that this will just put the nail in Tezamaza's hopes of taking this win here tonight. The gap up at a second and a half as they come in towards Vale Chicane here. They're about to start the penultimate lap of the races. We see HD Baguette's picked up a 3-second time penalty for track limits there. That popping up on the screen just there. Bennett starting the penultimate lap with a 1.6 second gap over Tezamaza at the moment. And I don't think that Tezamaz is going to be able to do much about it here with the fact that he's got a very depleted ERS battery. Bennett's still got 50% of his, which I imagine he'll deploy on the last lap. Joram just doing the fastest lap of the race there on much fresher hard tyres than the two up front, but he's too far behind, 15 seconds adrift, and really he missed the trick by not putting the soft tyres on in his final pit stop. I'm sure we'll find out the reason behind it. Maybe he had run out, maybe the game glitched, or possibly he made an error on his menu, but whatever the case, Joram will have to settle for the final podium spot tonight here at Silverstone. It's Bennett who's extended the gap a little bit more to Tezamaz on this penultimate lap. Gap now just over 2 seconds between those two. 1,000 Corn just over a second behind Max GT. Matty Pitt's fallen off of these guys a little bit in that fight for P5. Currently seeing Crest Anime keeping Raki just about within reach at the moment. Gap just over a second between those two, but the gap is extending out the front between Bennett and Tezamaz, and Bennett looking very good for a victory here in round 3 of the season, and it will be the second win in a row for Bennett if he can keep this one and stay in the position that he's currently in. He took the win last week in the second round of the season for the Canadian Grand Prix at Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve. He took P2 in the opening round of the season, so as it stands, Bennett LCFC will be extending his lead in the championship here for Motive's F1 League for season 4 as he comes around the final corner to start the final lap of the race. He's still got 50% of his ERS battery left. Tezamaz is down to 17% of his. Now Bennett can use his ERS battery to try and go for a fastest lap on the final lap. Has he got the pace, or is he just going to bring it home? Obviously, Joram is really pushing now. He's going for the fastest lap because he's got so much more fresher tyres. Having said that, he's used all of his battery up, but Bennett's surely going to use his battery up on this final lap as we're coming down not the Kemmel Straight. What am I talking about? It's not Spa, the Wellington Straight. But Bennett here coming through Brooklands and in towards Luffield. He's got a bit of traffic in front of him here, which he'll have to negotiate in a few moments' time. Some of those drivers are Crescent Anime and Raki, who you can just see there coming down the old pit straight. But Bennett LCFC has really driven a superb race here tonight. He's managed it very nicely. Managed to keep ahead of Tezamaz through the pit stops after they've switched from the Inters onto dry tyres. Little Greavy's out of the race. Little Greavy has crashed out here on the final lap. What a shame there, as he was, I don't know if he was in a position to chase down the HGB gate. I think he's a bit too far away, but nonetheless, we've got double wave yellow flags through the final sector, and Bennett's just going to cruise home here for a win. Last week he took a very, very impressive win at Canada in a good battle with Dems Becky, his teammate at Aston Martin. This time out, it wasn't Dems Becky, it was Tezamaz who took the fight to him. And Tezamaz, what's happened? Has he run out of fuel? I think Tezamaz has run out of fuel on the final lap of the race. What has happened here? Oh no! Bennett coming out of the final corner is going to take the British Grand Prix win at Motive Racing nonetheless. Over the line he comes to take his second win in as many weeks. Well done to Bennett, and he extends his championship gap. Joram is going to come around to take second place in the end and gifted 3 points basically given to him on a play there. The Mutts Nuts is going to come out to take P3. And has Tezamaz got enough to cross the line? Max GT's coming out of Stowe now. Has Tezamaz got enough to get himself round Vale? And is he going to be able to hold on to P4? Max GT is coming right up on him now. Tezamaz might hold on for P4. The Mutts Nuts takes the final podium spot. Tezamaz is going to lose out on P4 as well. Max GT comes up to take P4. In fact, Tezamaz does get it back on the penalty. So Max GT's penalties drops him down to P5. Tezamaz takes P4 ahead of Max GT and P5. 1,000 Corn over in 6th ahead of Matty Pitt 7th. P Cheward is coming out of the final corner here to take 8th place here in this one, with Dems Becky coming over to take 9th place in the end. HG Baguette will take P10 as she around the final corner she comes. Raki is going to bring home 11th place as Crest Anime's binned it. Crest Anime has lost it on the final lap. He looks like Crest Anime was just pushing it to the limit to try and get onto the back of Raki, and just pushed a little bit too hard there. Crest Anime has DNF'd on the final lap. Raki will bring it around. It's quite a leisurely pace here for P11. Twitch Storms, T, Rednass and DJ Phillip all finished a lap down. Little Greavy classified in P16 as he started the final lap, whereas DJ Phil did not. But Raki's finished the race there in P11, and that is that then for the British Grand Prix here at Motive. What a night, what a race. A really exciting Grand Prix that was for round 3 of season 4 here for the F1 League. Massive congratulations to our race winner Bennett LCFC taking his second win in as many weeks. And Also, honourable mention to the podium finishers. Joram ending up with a fortuitous second place, with Teza Muzza running out of fuel on the last lap. The Mutt-Nuts taking home the final podium spot, and I'm sure he'll be delighted with that after starting in P12. Teza Muzza takes home P4 ahead of Max GT P5, followed by 1000 Corn in P6. Matty Pitt P7, Pichu P8 ahead of Dems Becky in P9. HD Baguette completing the top 10 with Raki in 11th place. Crest Anime P12 ahead of Twitch Storms in P13, followed by T in P14. Rednass P15, Little Groovy crashing out there and classified in P16. DJ Phil 17th, and Tibbs retired from the race a long way out there. But great night of racing there, guys, and well done again to Bennett LCFC on controlling that race. Joam taking the fastest lap on the fresher tyres towards the end. Big thank you to all the drivers for joining us tonight, and to those who were chiming in and watching the stream. If you did enjoy, please do drop a like, guys. Subscribe to the Motive Racing channel if you haven't already, as it really helps us out an enormous amount. Join us at www.motiveracing.com. We'll be next live on Monday night for the Clio Cup on Project Cars 2. Our Sunday ACC special does not start until next week, so the PS4 Sprint League and the PS5 GT3 League will be starting next Sunday. So this weekend we've got no racing on, so we'll be back on Monday night for the Clios at 8:30 PM not GMT, BST still on Project Cars 2. But yeah, thanks everybody once again. We'll see you all soon. Take it easy, enjoy your weekend, and we will see you all later. Bye bye.